A visual and informative experience to get the gardener in you growing. Created and hosted by Kate Rath. Edited by Kat Clark. This is a Vault and Vine production.
Hi guys, my name is Kate and I work at Vault and Vine in East Falls. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about something very near and dear to my heart, and that's seed starting. Seed starting is a topic that there is so much to learn about, and you can spend your whole life learning about seeds, and there's going to be more that you don't know. However, once you get the basics down, it's pretty easy to get a nice little garden growing, and we're going to teach you the basics this evening. We love to start stuff from seed because it's rewarding, it's inexpensive, and there's really nothing that beats harvesting a plant or a flower that you grew yourself from seed. So we're going to give you the tools to do that, and then you're going to go out and do it, because the best way to learn is to start planting. We started seeds that do really well this time of year. I know that we're coming together in late May. So we started some sunflowers and we started some kale. And the kale actually does better in colder weather. So this is good to start in late summer and put in the ground early fall. And then you'll have leafy greens till the last frost. So we started these two. As you can see, I've got them right here. But the information contained within this program applies to just seed starting across the board, regardless of what time you're doing it. There's really three things that you need to start seeds: soil, water, and sunlight. And those are the basics, and we're gonna show you this cute little stop motion that we made of some seeds getting potted up. So here you go. That's it. That's how you pot up a seed. There's a couple of things that you want to consider whenever you're getting started. The first of which is soil. Good dirt is very, very important, and I could make probably like a 3-hour-long video about how much I love a good dirt, but I'm not going to bore you with that. I will say that we use Organic Mechanics soil in our shop. Organic Mechanics is really nice stuff. It's really well made, and it is a local company, which we love. You want to use a fine blend. We use the Organic Mechanics seed starting blend. If you can find a seed starting blend, go with that. You don't want to use a soil that has any heavier elements, because it's going to be harder for the seed to push through. Seedlings are very fragile, and we do want to give them the best chance at success. Another thing to think about, I know I said that you need light, but a lot of seedlings don't need light to germinate. These two are in that category. Most seedlings are. There are a couple of exceptions. If you're buying a packet of seedlings, they'll tell you. And then another thing is water. So you don't want to just top water your soil while your seedlings are germinating. Top watering might get them knocked around. You might lose some. They might fall out. They're super tiny, so you want to just keep them where they are. Bottom water if you have to. But generally, whenever I'm mixing up my soil, I put a fair amount of water in before I pot, and that way you have this nice mud pie-like texture. Like, think about when you were a kid and you made mud pies, do that. And that's enough water and moisture and humidity for those seeds to start germinating. So we've done that. We put our seeds in the dirt and they're gonna germinate. So let's watch a little video of our babies growing. Alright, so that's how a tiny little seed becomes a tiny little plant. I think it was around like day 3 or 4 that we started to see some green stuff poking up through the soil. Whenever you see that your seed has germinated and you've got some growth, that's when you're going to want to add a lot of light, and that's when you're going to want to make sure that they're well watered. I did not add enough light. I started these inside and they're pretty leggy. That's part of life, that's part of learning, And I made this mistake so that you wouldn't have to, so you're welcome. The leaves that you saw growing in this video are called cotyledon leaves. Cotyledon leaves are like the baby leaves of every plant. They are inside the seed. It's what it pushes out to get that photosynthesis going. They're pretty generic looking. They kind of look like the little leaf emoji, but they're a very important part of the plant. The next set of leaves, which you can see, can you see it? On my sunflower, that's called the true leaves, and that's what the plant really looks like. These are gonna look like sunflower leaves when they grow. So that's what your baby plant's gonna look like. So I started both of these in pots for the purpose of this video. Kale does really well starting in pots, and I like to start my kale in pots because I never know what the weather's gonna do. So I leave mine inside. I do have a grow light, and I grow them until it's a nice cool time to put them out. This can be a taxing way of doing it because you will have to pot it up as it grows, and there's less difficult ways of doing it, but that ensures that I have a nice mature plant that's ready to be planted whenever the weather is good. Sunflowers, however, they really prefer to be planted where they'll stay. That's because sunflowers develop a taproot, which is a long central root with smaller roots coming off of it. Taproots really don't like to be disturbed, so that's why we like to start sunflowers in the ground. Obviously, I started it in this pot for the purpose of the video, and I'm gonna move it and see what happens. I'll baby it a little bit. I think it'll be fine. So taproots are something that you're probably very familiar with. Carrots, beets, daikons, radishes, all those root vegetables, that's a taproot. That is the root of the plant. So the other type of root is a fibrous root, which is what kale has. Fibrous roots are a lot less resentful of transplanting, and they can be started in a pot, no problem, moved to the ground, and they generally do really well being moved. This is a tomato plant that we actually started in the shop, and I brought this guy here to show you what a really beautiful fibrous root looks like. So this is a tomato plant that is ready to be put in the ground. So let's talk about putting plants in the ground. So once you have a really strong seedling like this beautiful tomato plant that I've got right here, it's time to move them outside. If you're moving your plant outside in the spring, whenever you still have some cooler weather, what you're gonna wanna do is harden it off. Hardening off is just bringing your plant outside during the mild temperate days and taking them in at night. Or you can leave it in a covered area if you have a patio or a porch. That's a great place to harden off. That kind of gets them used to the outside weather, and they're not gonna be as shocked whenever you put them in the ground. But it's May, and it's gonna be hot very soon. So you shouldn't have to harden off your plants whenever you're doing like midsummer, late summer planting. So pretty much any fruit, vegetable, herb, cut flower that you're gonna be planting in the ground is gonna want full sun. There's obviously some exceptions to the rules, but really consider that whenever you're planting your garden, because I can't tell you how many times I've tried to sneak somebody into a shadier spot and they've told me how they feel about it. So make sure that your new seedlings are getting the sunniest spots in your yard. So there's a couple of different routes to take for planting your plants. You can do raised beds, or you can go right in your soil. If you're doing raised beds and you're using a really nice soil, you're good to go. There's probably gonna be some compost in it. There's gonna be some nutrient-rich stuff in it. So you can just pop it in there and they'll be so happy. If you're planting them in your own soil, I would amend it with some compost. That's what I do. Bennett Compost is a local company, and I love Bennett. I get my compost taken by them every week, and in exchange, they deliver free bags, and they also have really, really cheap bags that you can get from them as well. So if you're looking for some nice stuff to put in that dirt to make your plants happy, check out local compost. It's my favorite. All right, so your plant is in the ground and it's in really good dirt. So what's next? Watering it, like a lot. I water my plants twice a day whenever it gets really hot out. I water them once in the morning and I water them once in the evening. If it's cooler out, you can handle once a day, but definitely get out there in your garden and give your plants a drink daily. I also always hit my plants at the base. I know when you have a nice big garden, it feels really good to just hit them all and then you're done. But that ensures that each plant is getting a nice good drink, and it also prevents powdery mildew and pests. Whenever the leaves get wet, that does attract those pests. And I can't tell you how many times a pest has really destroyed my garden. So it sets you up to succeed. So take the time to water them well. And then a tiny little bonus tip that I have for you is if you're looking for a good fertilizer that's organic and that your plants are gonna love, hit them once a week with fish emulsion oil. It is not the nicest smelling fertilizer, I'll tell you that, but my plants love it. You can dilute it with water and hit it with a watering pan, and I swear my plants grow like twice in size the day after they get hit with the fish emulsion oil. But beware, it's stinky. So you've got these good strong seedlings and you're taking really good care of them. So what's next? Well, many say that you can't predict the future, but we here at Bolton Vine have a top secret technology that lets us see what the future is like. And we're gonna share with you what your plants are gonna do. But don't tell anyone because it is our top secret technology. So without further ado, here you go. There you have it, some beautiful homegrown plants.
Thanks for joining us. We hope we've equipped you for your seed starting journey.